Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. And today what I got here is the Innov RC's IN120 drone. It is a 120 millimeter brushless micro racing drone. It is a do-it-yourself kit. So let's go ahead and open up the box and check out its contents. Okay, we got some documentation. And here we go. There's a list of all of the parts, packing list, and here is a diagram of the ESCs 4-in-1, and we got a diagram of the flight controller with all of the colored wire diagram going to the buzzer LED light combo, as well as the all-in-one VTX. Very nice, so very easy to see what you're going to do, and a channel list of the all-in-one VTX. And we are also given the instructions to change the channels and the frequency on it as well. So very nice piece of paper. And we also get a Velcro strap and some props. And these guys are the gem fan. Looks like 35 bullnose props. And we are given just one set of props. There's some static free bag, and it contains the ESC and the flight controller, and looking like we already have the power cable, the JST, already connected, and we have some wires and some standoffs and screws and nuts. So there you go, that's that. And we got the buzzer LED light combo with some wires on this one, and we have the all-in-one VTX in that one. And we got some motors here. We got the Sunny Sky motors, and they are the R1106 8000 kV motors. Let me go ahead and open one up and check it out. Yep, there you go, the Sunny Sky motors. And we also have a bag of screws and some washers. So there you go, we got that. And we have 4 of these guys here, so nice. Yes, we need 4 motors. It is a quadcopter. And we got the frame itself right here, and we got some side plates, and looking like some, looks to me like 3D printed 4 pieces, looking like it's for the camera. All right, and we also got some screws, some standoffs and stuff like that to accompany it. And last but not least, we have more screws, M2 screws, some 5 millimeters and some 7 millimeters. All right, a couple of bags of it, and that is all we get. So let's go ahead and open up everything and lay them out on the table. Okay, everything is laid out on the table here. I changed to a white background. Checking out the frame here, smooth sided on one side and the rough sided on the other side. So I'm assuming the smooth side is going to go on the bottom and the rough side is going to go on the top. So here's the side plates, which will connect just like so and just like so. There you go, kind of resembling the Leader 120 down to a T, just about. All right, so let's go ahead and measure the carbon fiber here. So let's go ahead and slide it out, zeroed out. Yes, so the side plates measuring in at 1.8, so it's a 2 millimeter side plates, and the frame itself measuring in at 2.9, so it is a 3 millimeter frame. All right, here's the bag of goodies that accompanied it. So we got 4 little red, I believe those are camera mounts for the front, and some other mounts to hold down the side plates. So let's go ahead and put those 2 together. Okay, I put the 2 side plates together with the 2 little red pieces, that 3D printed pieces. That apparently is the camera mount, and there's a couple of screws holding them together, and I placed them right here. Put another screw in here and you are good to go. You can mount your all-in-one VTX camera, but you got to put the lens in there first and then clamp that shut. I just put it in there preliminarily so I can check it out. There's a smaller standoff on the top. There's a bigger standoff on the bottom too, and they have different screws so you know which one is which. And the two big standoffs have holes on the bottom. As you can see, this one also has that hole there. You can kind of see it. Let me go ahead and spin it so you can kind of see it better. I kind of loosely mounted on there. There's the hole there. And inside of the bag, apparently we are given a couple of extra camera mounting 3D printed pieces there. And these silver screws, the bigger silver screws, are for right here going through the frame. Once you put the side plates in, you put those screws right here to hold down that standoff, and that is how the whole side plate and the camera mount and the camera is attached to the frame itself. So only two screws. These four screws are the stack screws. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and check out the ESC. I'm not going to bolt this down yet because I'm not going to utilize this yet. I want to put the ESCs on this frame first, so let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, here's a look at the ESCs, the 4-in-1 Betaflight ESC and the flight controller. They come already soldered together, and the JSD power cable is already soldered onto the PDB/ESC board, so that is just fantastic. All we got to do is go ahead and put it on the board, and we are given this little connecting cable. So very simple operation. Just connect one here and connect the other one here, and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, here it is, the 4 hex standoffs on the top plate and secured with some screws, the flat screws, and it's recessed. So very nice. Ready to accept the ESC now. All right, I put the ESCs on the board itself. Before I put the screws on, I thought maybe I'm going to go ahead and solder on the motor wires and place the motors on here and get that ready before I start screwing it on and putting the flight controller on the top. So let's go ahead and check that out. Put all of the motors on the board and cut the wires accordingly. All right, got the ESCs ready for the motor wires to get soldered on. Okay, we are given a couple of different size screw in the bag that the motors came in. This one obviously is going to be way too long. So we're going to go ahead and mount the motors with the shorter screws here. All right, we got all of the motors in place, screwed on tightly and ready to go. What I've also done was I twirled the motor wires thinking I can make it even shorter because it was a little bit too long. I'm probably going to electric tape the motor wires onto the arm right there. And here's the standoffs between the ESC and the flight controller. So I'm probably going to wrap it around those standoffs, and it is still a tiny bit too long. So what I'm going to have to do is just going to have to cut just a little bit off and get it primed and ready for soldering onto the ESCs. All right, we got all of the motor wires soldered onto the ESC board, and I've also put the standoffs as well and got the motor wires wrapped around the standoffs and tucked in very nicely. Now we're going to get the flight controller here, and as you can see, that is the front of the quadcopter where the camera is going to be mounted here. And as you can see on the flight controller, there's arrows, and that is the front of the flight controller. So what we're going to do is we're going to place it right here. And also what we're going to do is connect the flight controller to the ESC utilizing this cable here. Very easy to do. Plug it in, and probably going to tuck the excess wire in between the two boards. All right, so far everything is looking pretty good. I got the flight controller screwed on the standoffs, and all of the connectors are in place. So looking pretty good, almost done here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and connect the flight controller to Betaflight to make sure everything is in working order. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the micro USB. And what I like to do is I always like to connect the micro USB to the flight controller first, and then connect it to the computer using the USB. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we got some light going on, and it is recognized, and we got a COM port. So awesome. Let's go ahead and connect. Connecting. All right, let's go ahead and show the log here. Okay, we got a Betaflight version 3.1.0, and we got an omnibus board, and check it out. It is working, and that would be the front. So going down, left and right. Yep, it's working. All right, so I'm going to place it on a flat surface, and I'm going to go ahead and calibrate the accelerometer. All right, that should be done. And do we got any ports set up? Check that out. We got UART on the MSP configured on. No serial RX yet. So checking the config. Okay, we are given the one shot here. Nothing is turned on. Okay, no craft name. So we're gonna have to get everything going here. So let's go ahead and configure this baby right off the bat. So I'm going to go into CLI, and I'm going to hit DUMP, and I'm going to hit enter and get all of the dump files. Okay, highlight and copy. Okay, got a text document opened up, and going to go ahead and paste it. And I am going to save it. Save as. I'm going to save it on my desktop. And I'm going to give it IN120 DUMP. And I'm going to save it on my desktop for now. Okay, and wouldn't you know it, the segment I upgraded Betaflight to the latest firmware. I forgot to hit record, guys. So I just got done upgrading the firmware to Betaflight 3.2.5 here. Let me go ahead and connect one more time. And as you can see, I am upgraded to the latest Betaflight 3.2.5. Save the CLI in a text file just for safety, and disconnected from Betaflight, went into the firmware flasher, and we are targeting Omnibus, because if you go back into the text document and go all the way up, you will note that it is Omnibus 3.1.0 we started off with. So in Betaflight, I chose Omnibus as the target board, and wouldn't you know it, we are now 3.2.5. It is the latest firmware. So I clicked on it and loaded the firmware online, and I hit flash firmware, and everything was fine. Loaded up the firmware, and I was able to connect . And here we are, back to the original spot. And what I've done also was I went into CLI and I did re-paste the dump files that I copied onto CLI and reinserted it into the flight controller. So all of the setup right now is exactly the same as if I had gotten it out of the box, except now I am in Betaflight 3.2.5. Okay, so we are good to go here. Everything is working fine. Let's check it out. Yep, everything is working just perfect, so no problem there. So what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and plug in the LED light with the buzzer, and we are also going to attach the VTX and put the side plates onto the quadcopter and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and do all that. Okay, we are back to the diagram and we got all of the wiring information that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and solder in the VTX to the flight controller. Okay, not the greatest job, but I was able to get the VTX whip antenna soldered onto its correct spot. A little bit messy job, but that'll work. Okay, getting the flight controller ready. Placing a little solder, so easy to solder later. Okay, pretend the tip of the wires for the VTX. There we go, a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we got video in, video out, 5-volt and ground. So looking like orange, blue, red, and black. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We got orange, blue, red, and black. We got 4 wires. So let's go and start off with the one on the top, orange. Okay, I also got some solder onto the pads that I'm going to put the receiver on as well. These 3 are for PPM, S-Bus, and these 3 here are for the DSM. So just like what it says on the diagram here. So these are the 3 that I want because that's for PPM and S-Bus, and these 3 here, that one right there is for DSM. So let's go ahead and solder on our VTX as well as the receiver. There we go. Gotta get it just right. There we go. Next up is the 5-volt. So it is the red. That one went well. Next up is the blue. And this is the video out. Okay, and the next one is the orange, the video in. There we go. Got the VTX configured correctly. So double check. Video in, video out, 5-volt and ground. Nice. Okay, we got the receiver ready to go. It is all tinned out already. So let's take another look at the flight controller diagram. We got the ground on the top, the 5-volt and PPM S-Bus on the bottom. So black, red, and signal. So let's go with the black first. On the top is the black. And it seems my soldering iron is not hot enough. Okay, that is good enough for me. Next up is the 5-volt, and that one went well. And then we got the signal. All right, we are good to go. Okay, so time to put the buzzer. I've already got it all primed up, ready to go. Here is the buzzer apparatus. Got all of the wires already soldered on. We got the yellow, red, and white and black. Well, on here it says yellow, red, blue, and black, but we just gotta make believe that the white wire is the blue wire. All right, and there is the flight controller. You got the ground wire. Let me get one of my tools here. All right, so we got the ground wire, 5-volt, the LED, and we have that white wire. We're gonna hit it on that buzzer negative. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I got it all primed already tinned. We got some solder onto that buzzer negative. We got the 3 pads right here all ready to go. So let's go ahead and solder these babies up. I already got the wires already tinned up. So let's do it. First up is this one right here, which is the ground. So let's go ahead and we're going to get that black wire. And I'm going to hit it from this side. All right, got the black wire. Next up is the 5-volt, so it'll be the red wire. Okay, the red wire is on. Next up is the LED, which is the yellow wire. All right, good to go. One left, and that would be the blue wire, but we are given the white wire. So let's go ahead and hit that one more time. Doesn't look like I did it right. No, too dull. There we go. All right, it is on, ready for action. Okay, we are just about done. Everything is all soldered on into place. I just gotta jigsaw puzzle it together. So we're gonna have the camera right here, and I'm going to put the receiver right here, and then the LED light is gonna go in the back right there. So let's go ahead and put it all together. All right, got the side plate, camera fixture, and everything is attached via those 2 screws, one on the top, one on the bottom, and they screw on to the standoff, and the standoffs are screwed on together, holding the 2 side plates together, and the camera mount is mounted on that little screw right there in the back. There you go, and you are able to tilt adjust the camera. I didn't quite tighten it up yet, but you are able to tilt adjust the camera to the tilt angle you wish, and that looks about right. So we are good to go. Everything is just about done. I'm just gonna have to put the receiver, put it in a little plastic or something like that, put some double-sided sticky tape, and just stick it right on top of the flight controller. And the LED buzzer fixture, I'm not sure how you're supposed to adhere this onto the back part of the quadcopter. I think you just double-side sticky tape this thing on there, because there is no fixture involved. There's no holes or anything, or screws or anything, so I think it just goes on there with some double-sided sticky tape. So I'll figure out a way to do that, and we are just about done. and we're going to go hit Betaflight one more time and do all the configuration and put on the props and do a little test flight or hover. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, or we are back. We are just about done. While I was away, I did double side sticky tape the naked receiver. I used two double-sided sticky tape, so it is nice and comfortable, and I could actually squeeze it and push it down because it has little grooves and whatnot, valleys and stuff like that on the flight controller. So it is stuck on there pretty good. And I got the buzzer and the LED light combo just hot glued onto the side plates there. Copious amount of hot glue kind of holding it in place, as you can see. Yeah, if I hit something, it'll fly off, of course, but there was no other way to secure it down. I couldn't use any zip ties or anything like that, so I think that looks all right. And I also did hunker down the motor wires with some electric tape on all four of the motor arms, and I did use a zip tie to hold down the power cable, the JST power cable, and I did also put a zip tie on the side plate and electric tape the D8 receiver antenna as well. So everything is just about ready to go. All I gotta do now is bind it to a receiver, and we are good to go, and gonna hook it back up to Betaflight and do all the configurations.